Okay. So if you guys got any SEO questions, drop them in chat. We're going to try drawing today. See how this goes. Okay. So, well, I guess what I could do is I could pull up my, just so I have notes of something. I'm so excited. It's a little hilarious because I've wanted a draw pad to like draw and like illustrate what I'm trying to say. And I used AI, shout out to Claude, and was able to I don't know how Claude's able to do this, uh, but I'm able to connect my daylight computer, and now I can stream the screen. So let's see here, so you can see what I'm talking about. So like I can draw, and then have it displayed on my computer, so then you can see it while because I'm streaming just the application, which is fascinating to me. So I'm just checking to make sure everything's up and running. Okay. Okay. So I guess how do I want to start this? Okay. So you're a roofing company, right? And you have a Google Business Profile. So you went through the process of setting that up. You got your location verified, or you currently have a service area based profile or a SAB. So so a service area based profile is a Google Business Profile that has not verified the address, or whenever you go on your Google Business Profile, what you'll see is there'll be this little box. There'll be off and there'll be on, right? And what it says above it is show address, right? So if you have showed address on, then you have a verified location or a verified address. So what does that mean? What does that do? So when somebody searches, right? So they'll go into Google. This is Google's little search bar. Let me redraw that. So this is Google's search bar. And they search for roofer near me. Okay, so I'm local to you, wherever you may be. If you're in Pensacola, let's just pick Pensacola for right now. Okay, so you're a roofer, you're in Pensacola, Florida. Someone down the street searches for roofer near me. What's going to happen is Google is going to then display some search results, right? So these are search results. The search results that are going to be displayed, especially when it is a local business, is you're going to get what's called the 3-pack. It's called the 3-pack because it displays 3 Google business profiles in search. Now, there may be instances in which there are more than 3 displayed. Those are typically going to occur when someone has paid for placement. They've paid per click, or they have some type of ads for their Google business profile. And when you see that, that means you're going to see usually like 4 Google business profile or even more. You also may see some web addresses or website ads at the top, right? You'll see like a little thing right there. You'll see sponsored, blah, 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 right? But what I'm specifically talking about right now is when those don't happen. So let's go back. Someone searches for roofer near me. Then we get these search results. This little map icon opens up. You've got a river here. You've got a street here, right? Then you'll see icons or Google Business Profiles appear, right? These are little pins. So if you do not show your address, right? If we go back up here to this, if you're not doing this, when someone searches for a roofer near me, what happens is that it's going to push your Google business profile down. So what do I mean? Okay, so then we'll go to 4, then we'll go, and then we're just going to start skipping. We'll go to 8, and then we'll go to 12, right? So what does this mean? So when I say 12, what I mean is the 12th position. So what will have to happen is when someone lands on this, right? Is that right? Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to turn it. This is my first time using it, so I'm trying to figure out how to turn it. Oh, you know what I need to do? It has to be, that's the issue. It probably looks off to you guys. So I have to make it square to me. That looks square to me. Does it look square to you guys? Yeah, that looks square to you guys. Okay. Either way. So what will have to happen is below this 3-pack, like right here, there's going to be a show more button. Right? When they click that show more button, then this is when you're going to start seeing the Google business profiles that have ranked below the 3-pack, right? So you're going to see the 4th position, you're going to see the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, right? It can go, depending on how many Google business profiles that Google can match to the search term, you can go 20 plus, right? We can go to 40, we can go to 50, what have you, right? So if you do not have your address verified, what happens is that you're going to start placing down here. So there was a big study done where being in this first position got 34% of the clicks or calls. The second position got 26%. So why am I telling you this? So why I'm telling you this is because as we get down here, you're getting a fraction of what's remaining. So you're barely getting any clicks. You're barely getting you're barely getting any interactions on your Google Business Profile. You're not getting phone calls. You're not getting clicks. You're not getting anything, right? This is a winners take all. I want to check my sound real quick. So I've got let's see here. Nope, that's the wrong way. Oh, you guys can't see that. No, you guys can see that. Okay. So being a service area based profile, you're gonna on average be located down here, more below the 3-pack. So you're gonna be fighting over that last, what, like 5% of clicks or calls to your Google Business Profile. So this is one of the main reasons why we want to show our address, because what this is going to do is we are going to place higher on average in this 3-pack, which is exactly where we want to be at all times. So after we've verified our address, we're showing our address to our customers, the next big ranking factor is your primary category. So for roofing, we want to be roofing contractor. What happens is that if we have a mismatch for when someone searches, right? Someone searches roofing company near me and our primary category does not match the keywords we're wanting to target, or does not properly match the services that we provide, the products that we provide, whatever we do, if we're not properly matching the primary category to our company, to what we do, what happens is that, again, similar to being a service area based profile instead of a verified address or show address to customers profile, we're going to start ranking in that below the fold. Again, we're going to be fighting for that remaining, let's say, like 5% of clicks or calls. We don't want that to happen. The other thing that can happen is, let's say somebody searches for roofing contractor, but your primary category is personal injury attorney, right? It's an extreme example, but what can happen is that we don't show up at all. There are instances in which we won't even appear at all because our primary category does not match the keywords, the services, the products, what our actual company does. So a better example of this is that if on your profile, your primary category is set to general contractor, you're going to, one, not rank as high as you could. Two, when people are searching for roofing keywords, examples can be you got roofer, you've got roofer near me, you've got roof repair, right? So all of these search terms that people are putting into Google when they're looking for a roofer or to repair something on their roof, because your primary category here, general contractor, is going to prevent you from appearing for these search terms when your customers or when your clients are searching for you. So what you need to do, and this not only applies to roofers, but to all business types or business niches, is that you need to properly match that primary category to what your business actually is. Even if you offer, so let's say you're a roofing company, and you also do bathroom remodeling, right? If your primary category is bathroom remodeler, then you're going to rank less, you're going to rank lower, and there are going to be some keywords that you don't appear for in relation to roofing. So, if your secondary services that you offer include like bathroom remodeling, kitchen remodeling, maybe you refinish cabinets, you install cabinets, what instead we should be doing is getting a second Google Business Profile. With that second Google Business Profile, what we can do is we can start targeting those keywords or those service keywords that you also provide and want calls or clicks for, right? So let's say you're still a roofer, you've got your main Google Business Profile is for, I keep doing that, is for roofing. Then your second is for bathroom remodeler. That way, we're not trying to force Google to display one Google Business Profile for both of those search terms, because what that's just going to do is it's going to hurt you across both. So anytime someone is searching for bathroom remodeler, or anytime someone is searching for roofer near me, you're killing your results. You're killing the amount of clicks you would have gotten, the amount of calls you would have gotten, if instead we just have two Google Business profiles. In the primary categories, on each of these is appropriate. The primary categories on these is appropriately set, right? So we got roofing contractor, and then we got bathroom remodeler. This is what we should do instead. We don't want to have two primary services or a primary category and a secondary category on the Google Business Profile competing for each other. Instead, we need to get a second Google Business Profile. So now, after that, so we've talked about being a service area based profile versus showing address. Now we've talked about our primary category. Then we need to talk about the name of the business. So when you go to name your Google Business Profile, we want a keyword in the name. So ideally, let's say we were to do it for me. My name's Chris, so we would do Chris's roofing, right? We just simply want a keyword in the name. Now, if you already have one, like let's say your current Google Business Profile, is just right now Buckworth. So your roofer, your Google Business Profile name is just Buckworth for right now. We're gonna want to get that keyword in there, right? So we would want to do Buckworth key or Buckworth roofing, but the corporation documents currently have the business name as Buckworth LLC. So what you need to do is you need to file a do business as with your state. And these can cost around maybe like 35 to 60 bucks, which then allows you to change the name or simply says that we can do business under this name. Right? So then for our Google Business Profile, now we've went from a service area based profile. We now have verified. Then we've set our primary category. Next, we've placed, or we currently have, a keyword in the business name. These three things right here are going to have the most impact on your Google Business Profile ranking as a roofer. So, verified address, show address to customers, right? Then the primary category, making sure that it's roofing contractor, not bathroom remodeler, not general contractor, roofing contractor, because we want to rank for roofing keywords or roofing services when someone searches for those. Then the third thing is getting a keyword in our name. So as an example, we went from Bucksworth to Bucksworth Roofing. Those are going to be the three biggest things you can do to your Google Business Profile to have it start ranking higher in search, higher in Google, so you start getting clicks and calls. So now I want to talk about getting a second Google Business Profile. So So, as a roofing company, as you expand and you start getting additional service areas, or you just want more calls and clicks from your Google Business Profile, what you need to consider doing, honestly, what everyone should do is get a second Google Business Profile. I often get asked, can I? And the answer is yes. Will I be punished for getting a second Google Business Profile? The answer is no, but you have to do it appropriately. So, what does that mean? You need to go get the proper documentation to show Google that you are actually at that location. It's the same documentation you got when you verified your first address. So, it's going to be a bill, like a utility bill. Then you're also going to need your LLC documents. Then you're also going to need to record a video of the location. This is where you show a street sign. This is where you open the building or you open the door to the building. Then this is where you start showing documents. So you can show your vehicles. This is where also you can start showing some of your LLC documents. This is where you're also going to want to open your computer. Show like your CRM. Also, you're going to want to show signage. So a sign that shows the name of your business. And you've also got the phone number. Maybe if you've also got it on like some glass, it shows the address of your location. All right, so that's if you're wanting, this is the normal procedures, everything you've done for your first Google Business Profile listing. This is where you're also going to want to do it for your second Google Business Profile listing. So often I'm asked, can I? Yes, you can create as many Google Business Profiles as you want, as long as it's legit, right? We don't want to just be creating fake listings or spamming Google for no reason. Will you be punished? No. Do it proper. Make sure you have all the proper documentation and everything that you need. Very similar to how you did the first one. Now, why we want a second Google Business Profile is a huge reason. This can honestly generate so much revenue for your business by simply opening a second Google Business Profile as a roofing company. What this allows you to do, and I'm going to make a map to kind of like illustrate this. So what this allows us to do by opening a second location is, so let's say that our first location is right here, right? This is our second location. So this is your first location. So what happens, let's say somebody right here searches, right? This person right here searches for roofer. They are, and we'll go over here, they're going to get a search results page, right? So they've typed into Google roofer. They're given the 3-pack, right? So you got this first 3-pack, you got the second, you got the third, right? So one of the biggest ranking factors for Google Business Profiles is the distance between where the Google Business Profile is located and where the person that searched is located currently. So let's say that from this person to your Google Business Profile is 3 miles. Okay, so this is 3 miles. And I'll actually remove some of this so it's a little bit easier to understand. So this person is still searching for a roofer. The search results that they get are down here, but they're 3 miles from your location. So distance from where someone searches and to your Google Business Profile is a huge ranking factor. It determines a lot where you will land when someone searches. So, because we're 3 miles away, what may happen, there are other things or other ranking factors that we can do to influence where we place when someone searches, even if they're far away. Like we just recently did a study. We looked at over a couple thousand Google Business Profiles, and we looked at, okay, so if we looked at the amount of reviews that they have, how far away from where they're located. So from where they're located, right? We've got our location right here. How far out does having reviews impact their ranking, right? So let's say that 3 miles out, they average 9th. And then let's say at 8 miles out, they average 12th. Actually, no, it's actually way disproportionately bigger than that. They rank 35th, right? So what we did in this study is we looked at, okay, so if they have 10 reviews, what does that look like from the distance of their profile, right? From the distance of their profile to 8 miles out or 3 miles out. What we found was as review count goes up, so let's say you go from 10 reviews to 100 reviews, your average ranking from the profile goes up. So not only was their ranking, so let's say someone's 1 mile away and they're in the first position. So not only do you rank higher closer or more local to your location, but also as the further we get out, we get to that 3 miles away from your location, we get to that 8 miles away from your roofing company's location, you're going to start ranking higher. So maybe instead of being 9th 3 miles away, you're going to be 5th position 3 miles away. Instead of being the 35th position 8 miles away, you're going to move to the 12th position. Then we kept looking. So maybe if they went from 100 reviews to 250 reviews, what does that look like? And the story continued. As a Google Business Profile got more reviews, it increased the distance from the profile in which they ranked, and it also influenced the position that they ranked in. Now, there may be other factors that cause this to occur. Just in the study, all we looked at was the total amount of reviews. So let's go back to getting a second profile. So let's say someone is 3 miles away from you and you're ranking in this 6th position, right? What we can do, and let's say that like this is a big metro, like this is a big city, like let's say this is Fort Worth. Or let's say this is Dallas. People probably know more about Dallas than they do Fort Worth. So Dallas, Texas. What we can do is we can get a second Google Business Profile. Let's say we get it like down here. not only can we get ourselves closer to maybe where there's a high level of population or a high density population area so that our profile ranks higher when we're closer. Not only that, let's say there are also instances, right? Let's remove the 3 miles. Let's just talk about this. So we've got 2 Google business profiles, and right, these are our Google business profiles. And then this dot right here is the person searching. That person searching, when they type in roofer in Google, that 3-pack that pops up, we can not only take the first position, we could also take the second position. So that study that was done that said that 34% of clicks or calls go to the first position and then 26% go to the second position. There are instances in which we can take up all of this, where both of our profiles are ranking in this first position and the second position. Or maybe we don't have the first and second, but maybe we have the second and the third position. We're still going to get a large majority of the clicks or the calls. We're taking up 60% or 66% of the available options here. Not only that, because we have this second location, we now essentially have another billboard as a roofing company, right? So anybody searching around this Google business profile or anybody searching around this Google business profile gives us chances for us to appear when they search for a roofer. So by having 2 locations, because a lot of the times it's based, the big ranking factor is based off distance someone is from the profile, what we get are 2 billboards. So how I like to think about this is literally, because you have to take it away from when you drive, you see the billboard, right, with the advertisement. Right, this is your car and you're driving down this road, you see this billboard. What we have to think of is with our Google business profile is essentially a billboard as well. Because as people search in Google, right, the search bar is someone driving. We get our billboard to appear in search. On all of the information we can give Google, that we place on our profile, like our name that has the keyword roofing in it, we've verified our address and we've gone through the verification process to show that we're an actual business. Then our primary category, right? Those are all the information, those are all the advertising signals we can send to Google to rank us here. So then our billboard Our second billboard gets us the calls for people looking to fix their roof, or it gets us the clicks to our form, so then we can call them to fix their roof. So we go from having one billboard to having two. We then get more calls, more clicks, more people filling out our form for us to call back to, hey, it says here on the form your roof's leaking. You want that fixed? Right? So this is how I think about Google Business Profiles, as another billboard. Another way to get our business in front of people, and especially when someone searches in Google for a specific service, that is when they are typically the hottest. What I mean by that is when they're most likely to convert, because this isn't advertisement, right? We're not paying to interrupt or interruption based advertising like when you're scrolling on social media, right? When you go to scroll on social media and then you start seeing those ads, that is interruption based. Instead, people are at a pain point, right, in which they want that service. So they're actively searching for that service. So that's when they're the hottest, the most likely to convert. Not only that, if you don't have proper SEO, so let's say that you are running ads, right? Right now, you've got meta ads running. What someone's going to do, not every time, but a lot of people will do, is they're going to search your brand name. In Google. They're going to try to find out, who is this? And let's say that you don't have a brand name. Let's say it's your personal name. They're still going to type that into Google to get more information, especially as you go higher ticket. So you're going to need more of that SEO to convert them. Okay. So then that's second Google Business Profile. Now let's talk about filling out the Google Business Profile. So as a roofer, what we want to do on our Google Business Profile, so as a roofer, what we want to do on our Google Business Profile is we want to fill out every possible attribute. We want to set our primary category correct. We want to set our appointment link. To our home page or contact us page. So what I mean by that is, let's say this is your domain, yourdomain.com. So your appointment link can go to yourdomain.com, or it can go to yourdomain.com/contact or contact us, right? So doesn't matter which one it goes to. What we want to do on our roofing Google Business Profile, we want to set the appointment link to our homepage or to our contact us page. Just set it. Doesn't matter to which. The only thing you want to make sure that you're doing is when you go to your site, right? So you got your address bar here at the top of your browser or on your phone, and you go to your website. What is the URL that you're given? So what do I mean by that? So you go to your website, right? And then after a few seconds, your domain is shown. So it's rather, let's say the example is roof.com. You're going to want to click on that. You might have to click on it twice. And then what you want to see is the full URL address. So it's going to be https:// Now, this is the big thing that you want to be checking for. Is this URL, whoops, is this URL www.roofing? I keep doing F. Or am I just given roofing.com? So it doesn't matter which one you pick. So as a roofing company, it doesn't matter if your URL when someone visits your site is www.roofing.com or non-www.roofing.com, right? That's not what matters. What matters is anything externally. So let's say you've got Facebook. Let's say you've got Instagram. Let's say you've got X or Twitter. And then let's say you've got YouTube, right? Any of these platforms, anything external, so anything needs to match what's served on the site. So what do I mean by this? Okay, so again, doesn't matter if you have a www, doesn't matter if you do have a www. What matters is that anything externally, so I'm using social profiles as an example here, but this applies to any website, any directory listings. This also applies to Better Business Bureau, and then we've also have got Yelp, right? So we've got all of these external sources, these other websites, these other businesses. Anytime they have a link that doesn't match what's served on your site, okay? So in this example, let's say I picked, right? I want the non-www version of my URL structure, right? Which is great. So I go on all of these social platforms. I go on Facebook, I go on Instagram, I go on Twitter, I go on YouTube, I go on Better Business Bureau, I go on Yelp. If they're linking back to my site, the www version of my URL, what's happening is when Google goes and crawls those pages, right? It's going to go crawl the social profiles. It's going to go crawl Better Business Bureau. It's going to go crawl Yelp. And I'll talk about crawling actually. I'll write this down as a note to talk about. So as Google goes and visits these platforms, it's going to see the URL structure that is linking back to your site. Right? So you'll see like website, and then that has a link in it. As an example, like when you go to your Better Business Bureau profile listing, you'll see a thing that says website. And when you click that, you will be taken to your site, right? But that link, that URL, needs to match the URL that is served when visiting. So if you go to your site right now and you're given roofing.com, then the links externally all need to be roofing.com. You don't want to be force feeding Google a 301 redirect. So what that means is Google will visit the www version of your URL and it will go to the non version of your URL. Or let's say yours is www, but all of your external links are non-www. So in this example, we'll go from non-www to a www URL. What this does is it force feeds Google .301 redirects, which we don't want to do. You also lose out on what you would have gotten from the link. You're not getting everything that you should from these external links because you don't have the proper URL structure. So you need to match that URL structure. And this also goes for the appointment link you set on your Google Business Profile. This also goes for the URL you set on your Google Business Profile as well for your website. You want to make sure you're giving Google the proper URL. So next on your Google Business Profile as a roofing company, we want to start going through all of your hours of your location. So one thing to keep in mind is as a roofing company on your Google Business Profile, the hours you set will impact your rankings. What does that mean? So if someone searches at 6:30 p.m. and your current hours say you're only open to 5, then this will impact where you are positioned in search when somebody searches for a keyword like roofing, right? So maybe you would have placed the first or second or third, but now you're actually placing in the 5th position because you're closed. So your opening hours do impact this, but we do not want to lie. If you lie about hours, what can happen is that Google will call you. To verify the hours. Now, are they going to call daily? No. Are they going to call weekly? No. they're going to call at an infrequent rate, right? Maybe they'll call quarterly, maybe they'll call 2 times, and then they'll be like, oh, yep, that's their actual hours, and then they'll stop calling. But if we get caught, then this risks the profile being suspended. Or they'll just change your hours. So don't lie about your hours. Next, on the as a roofing company for your Google business profile, you're going to want to list your phone number, you're also going to want to go through all of your attributes. So what this means is, are you woman owned, right? Are you veteran owned? Why these things? So you want to go through all of the attributes like these. What can also happen is if someone searches for veteran owned roofing company into Google, right? They go and they search this. This having this attribute set on your Google business profile can help you appear, not only appear, can help you rank for when someone searches for veteran owned roofing company. The other attributes you want to go over on your Google business profile as a roofing company are your payment options. You're going to want to go over, are appointments required? Do you have free parking? Do you have publicly accessible restrooms? Then you're also going to want to go over your service options. And you're going to want to go through each of these and you're going to want to select the appropriate response. Do you have free parking? If so, then you're going to want to hit yes. So that's pretty much it for the Google Business Profile. So now we're going to go to the website as a roofing company. Or actually, do I want to stop there? It's already been an hour. Is there anything else I want to talk about? got that. You've got that. Oh, we can talk about. Okay. So next on your roofing company's Google Business Profile, we want to list all of the social media accounts or social platforms that we have. So we've got Twitter or X. We've also got Facebook. We've also got Pinterest. We've also got YouTube. We have Instagram. We've got TikTok. And there's one more, LinkedIn. So across all of these 7 platforms, we want accounts made or profiles made. Now, even if you're not going to post, you should still make one. On each of them, they need to have a about or a bio with the address, name of the business, and a phone number, and a link to site. Needs to have all 4 of these. And the address, name, phone number, and link, the URL, need to all be the same. Not only that, let's say that some of these you are going to post on. So let's say you're heavy on Facebook and you really like Instagram. You can repurpose the same content across these platforms. Specifically Instagram and Facebook, there's a setting that you can enable that will cross post. So what that does is you post, right? And that post that you put on Instagram will also post onto Facebook without you having to do anything else. When we post, right? So when we post on any social platform, we want to target a keyword. Google, I'm sure everyone has seen, in Google Search Console has launched the ability to track your social profiles, your social media posts in search. So we can see the impressions that they're getting, we can see the clicks that they're getting. And so when we post, we want to target a keyword. Not only that, we also want to have a link back to our site. So whenever you go to post on Facebook, whenever you go to post on LinkedIn or what have you, right? We also want to have a link. On the Google Business Profile, we want to have these seven social profiles. Then we also want to be posting. Is there anything else? I can't think of anything else. Yeah. So let's say that you launch a new blog on your roofing company's website. What you can do is, whenever you go to post on social media, you then can include a link to that new blog. So what this will do is, as Google goes by, right, and visits these social platforms, it will find this link, right? And then it will go crawl, or it'll follow the link to the page. So what this does is this helps us index pages. What index means is whenever someone searches in Google for roof, as an example, our URL will appear, right? This is our URL. When something is not indexed, it will not appear in search. Google will not show your URLs if they're not in Google's index. So we want to make sure that all of our pages are indexed, especially our money pages. So a blog is not a money page. A money page is going to be our services page. So a service page or a money page is going to have all of the stuff we want to convert. That's the only purpose. This service page is the page we want ranking in Google for whenever someone searches for our keywords like roof or roof repair, roof leak, roofer near me. These are the pages where we'll put on-page optimization. Or these are also the pages where we'll internal link to. These are also the pages we will point backlinks to. Not only that, we can also do all of this with our social media posts, right? So we can have a specific keyword that we're wanting to target with our posts, and then we can also link back to our money page that we want ranking in Google for whenever someone searches for a roof or roof leak, roof repair near me. So that we get those clicks, we get them to buy, and we get them to convert, which is our ultimate goal. What's after that? Social profiles, there's all of that. I can't think of what's next. Oh, so as a roofing company, on the Google Business Profile, we also want to be posting two times a week. In these posts on our Google Business Profile, we want to target a keyword, And then again, we want a link that's going back to our website. So these posts can be like announcements, say you got a new blog page, or maybe you got a new 5-star review. And in that 5-star review, we have a link back to the project page, which talks about the project. Right, and then that project page then has a internal link that then goes to our money page. So not only do we have a post, right? We're posting on our Google Business Profile that has a link to our project page, but then we also go and we post this new project on all 7 of our social media profiles, right? On our Instagram, on our Twitter, our Facebook, our TikTok, our Pinterest, our YouTube, on our LinkedIn. All of this then points back as we've got social backlinks, then we also have Google Business Profile links, right? All of these then are going to go, I'm going to zoom out real quick. They're going to go all the way down to this new project page, or maybe we link it to a money page, right? Which is then going to help us when someone goes and searches for a roof, and then they get the web results, right? Each of these are links. This is going to help us appear in that first position to where we're going to get a majority of the clicks. So this is just for looking at the Google Business Profile as a roofer. Yeah. If you'd like help ranking your roofing company's Google Business Profile, DM me on Instagram or whichever platform you find me this at. So if you'd like help ranking your roofing Google Business Profile, so if you'd like help ranking your roofing company's Google Business Profile, DM me or comment down below, audit, and do I want to do click link in bio? So if you'd like help ranking your roofing company's Google Business Profile, DM me the word roadmap and I will send you a link to my 7-phase roadmap. If you'd like help ranking your roofing company's Google Business Profile, DM me the word. If you would like help ranking your roofing company's Google Business Profile, drop the word roadmap in the description. If you would like help ranking your Google Business Profile as a If you're a Google, if you're a roofing company looking to rank your Google Business Profile higher, drop the keyword roadmap down below or click the link in my bio to book a call with me. If you're a roofing company looking to rank your Google Business Profile higher in search, comment the word roadmap so I can send you a link to my 7-phase roadmap. Then there will also be a calendar so that you can book a call with me.